Welcome back to DIGBITS TV. We're going to talk to you about full-size excavator digging buckets today, run you through a quick spec check and explain a bit about how we build them. These are buckets for machines that we build over 10 tons, so 10 to 40 tons, and we'll just run you through a few of the features on them. Here's one. There's a 65mm pin one for a 10 to 14 ton excavator, and this, like all of our buckets, from the smallest mini digger bucket right up to the biggest bucket that we build, everything is built in our works, which is over the road in the building opposite us. And we build all of these ourselves. There's no sub-assemblies brought in, there's no part bits that are imported, everything is done here. The big thing on our large excavator buckets is the top box. And we use a tube to form the top box. You can fold and fabricate. You can fold plates and weld them, and you can make a good structure like that, but we tend not to because it's quite labour intensive and box section is really repeatable, reliable, strong, so we use that as the basis for the top end of the buckets and then build it around that. But the pivots actually completely wrap around this top box, and somewhere I'll cut to we'll put a model on the screen so you can see exactly what we mean by that. But these plates actually fit right down and they are boxed in by a further plate that's welded either side and in between these two pivot plates to give it a really nice strong box section. And that feature is repeated on the 20 ton and the 30 ton buckets and so on. So all the bigger buckets basically use this same kind of structure. We build the side plates thick. They have nice side reinforcers. So the lower sides of the buckets have got some reinforcement there, some wear reinforcements. We use these forged, what we call banana side cutters for most of the large digging buckets. And those are forging. They're very hard wearing. They'll usually last the life of the bucket. They are very, very strong and hard wearing. Tooth systems, we will always fit, unless the customer asks for something else, we will always fit the Caterpillar tooth system. And there's really two reasons for that. It's not expensive, and wherever we send a bucket, not just in the UK, we send these buckets all over the world, we know that the customer, if they can't get a tooth from us, or if they don't want to get the tooth from us, they can go somewhere else, and there is always a supply, not just of a tooth, but usually you've got a choice of different types of tips. So you can have like wear tips, pointed penetration tips, whatever. So it's very easy for people to replace the wear parts on the buckets. It's one of the things that we get an awful lot from customers. They've bought a bucket from somewhere else, they don't know what tooth system's on it, it isn't a CAT system, and they've no idea whether they can get the tooth at all or what it's going to cost, because that's usually the thing with the proprietary tooth systems. They are probably slightly better than the CAT in terms of how much chatter they've got, you know, how nicely the tooth fits the adapter, because these will rattle a bit. I mean, all of these teeth, they've got a little bit of play. Some of the newer, nicer, more expensive tooth systems don't have that, so there is that to them, but it's just getting hold of spare parts sometimes. Either they're very expensive, multiple times more than a CAT tip, or you just can't find the things. So that's the sort of big plus we think for the Caterpillar type tooth. The edges that we use are fully rolled single bevel edges, purpose-built, heat treated. So they're not just a standard piece of steel. So they're hard wearing and they will resist bending. They're built to do that specific job. On the back plate of the buckets, which you can't see, but we'll show you a detail on that, all of the digging buckets have got wear straps running across the back of the buckets. And that's a feature on all of the large excavator buckets. And so these buckets, the narrower ones like this, they'll tend to be used for trenches, for digging footings, foundations, that kind of thing. Wider buckets, bigger widths, tended to be used for like bulk excavation, you know, loading, that kind of thing. So, you know, they're all general purpose buckets. These are what you would see. Everyone knows what buckets do, run of the mill basically. So that's a quick rundown on what we do, how we build ours, and why you might find them useful to you. So thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.